All right, PBC meeting has now come to order. We're on the Zoom. This could be the last Zoom. They are actually working on it, and hopefully by the time our August 18th meeting comes along, we'll be able to Zoom again. So let's see, without further ado, we could do a roll call. I'll do the PBC. Ken?
Here.
Brian?
Here.
Lyle?
Here.
Excellent. Nancy?
Here.
Emily?
Here.
Maya?
Here.
Chief?
Yep.
All right, Maya.
Okay, for SBC, Ken,
Here.
Josh,
Here.
Brian,
Here.
Tom. Is Tom joining us? Okay. Lyle,
Yes.
Chris Coleman, John,
Yes.
Pam. Okay, I know Jen Flanders can't make it. Rob? Nancy?
Here.
Matt?
Here.
Michelle? I see you, Michelle.
Here, sorry.
Emily?
Here.
And Chief?
Here.
Great.
And Rob may come in or out. He's on the road. He's headed to a family thing.
May I say Chris is on now?
Okay. Chris, can you say
Yes.
here for the roll call?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so let's start with the Wentworth Hall invoice. Nora, you on? No. All right, so there's one invoice from Ace Locksmith. It's for the scope of work to change out all the fob keys and to get them made. And the grand total is $4,800.85. Someone like to make a motion?
So moved.
There's any discussion? Second? Anybody?
Second.
Second, all right. So we'll take a roll call. All those in favor, Ken,
Yes.
Brian,
I think I'll abstain because I don't know anything about that one.
okay. Lyle,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Maya? Oh,
I
sorry.
think, yeah, I don't think I
Bill?
voted on that.
Steve?
Yes.
Excellent. All right. So that passed unanimously with one abstention, Jess. All right, now for the exciting part, the chair's report. Well, hopefully everybody is up and aware that the school committee has met twice and voted the full mitigation funds, just over $2 million to the project. We met last night with the select board and they voted, it was a vote of support. They're going to figure out a way to come up with $1.1 million. We nicely suggested the ARPA funds, as we, this project is, the reason why we're over budget is because of COVID, and we need to be rescued from the overprice from the supply lines. And let's see. I also wanted to mention that the last meeting was the last streamed meeting by Westwood Media Center, which means that was the last one that was live. And we were scheduled to be, that was the last one that was going to be posted, but this one will be awarding, hopefully we'll all vote in favor, and we'll be awarding the contract. And so that'll be the last posted on the school committee page and the Westwood Media YouTube page. But that doesn't preclude anyone, and everyone is always welcome to a PBC meeting, whether we're in Zoom or in person. All right, and moving right along. Discussion items. So let's see. Brian, did you want to run that up? Well, you can either go the 1 month ahead. Let's go with the or the award contract. The process for here.
Yep.
Or do you want me to go through the overview?
You can go through the overview if you want, and I got a couple bullet points to talk about. I don't necessarily need to present anything.
Okay. So essentially, as a school municipality, we have to take low bid. Prior to that low bid, we did the pre-qualification, and that we went through 3 months of scrutinizing basically everybody that wanted to work, and got the 4 best candidates. From those 4 best candidates, the bidder that was the low bid is I want to say Brad,
Great,
Great,
Brait.
great.
yep, great builders out of Marshfield.
Great, excellent. That sounded funny. All right, technology is awesome. All right, so they are awarded the contract, and I'm not sure if everybody's getting this feedback. If that,
No,
Not.
Oh, you're
Is it
kind of
me?
coming in and out, John. Sorry.
okay.
I can hop in if you
All right,
want.
fire away. Yes.
Yeah, so I will share what I have and kind of talk you through next steps pending a vote tonight. If I'm able to share it. There you are. So Bright Builders was the low bidder, inclusive of the base bid and the alternates that the committee would like to accept. Upon a vote to award tonight, the town will issue a notice award to Bright Builders for whatever the contracted amount will end up being. So it'll be the base bid plus the alternate amounts. Bright has several days to sign that contract and then provide all necessary bonds and insurance. They're aware of that. They've already started pulling those all together. They're basically just waiting for a date to put on those documents. Once all those are returned and satisfactory upon review, the town will execute that contract with all the necessary signatures. We will then issue a notice to proceed, which is the contractual start of the project. So all of the durations and things of that nature are tied back to the notice to proceed date in the contract. We're anticipating that'll happen at some point early next week. Might have everything signed by the end of this week, but the notice to proceed date would be next week. Bright will begin filing all of their permits. I think the building permit's already in process with plans over to the building department. They have to file their stormwater pollution prevention plan, their SWIP, which is SWIP. They have to do the national land disturbance permit, land disturbance filing. Couple of things on site work. We're planning to have a kickoff meeting the week of July 26th. Right now we're targeting Wednesday, the 27th, kickoff meeting with Bright, other representatives from town, inspectional departments, and the architectural team. We can talk through other people that would like to attend that, and that'll be kind of a two-phase meeting, one to kind of go over big picture, and one also to kind of go through the nuts and bolts of the construction process from here on out. We anticipate site mobilization to be happening potentially the week of the 26th as well. Should be the 25th, I'm sorry. Something as small as just getting some surveying done, tagging some trees, potentially putting up some fencing, et cetera. Once the land disturbance permit is approved, they can really start clearing and doing some manipulations on site. Trailer setups will probably be in August. We're pushing that the clearing and as much ledge removal as possible, which would include the blasting, is done in August while the students are out. Yet to be seen if we can get all of that done in August, but that's the goal, is to push to get as much done as possible. And then after that kickoff meeting on July 27th, we would start kind of regular weekly owner, architect, contractor, or OAC meetings with Bright, with Thorne Whittier, with us and other representatives on the project on a weekly basis to go through construction, coordinate with the school, work through any issues, et cetera, et cetera. And then we'd be bringing monthly updates to the PBC starting in August. Anything I left out there, John?
I'm not sure if it came through with my coming in and out, but the pre-qualification committee for us, for the town, was Lyle, Tom Erickson, and myself. And both Lyle and Tom were stressed how happy they were with the 4 candidates that we had. And in talking with Tom and Lyle afterwards, they were very happy with Bright and going forth, and knows that it'll be a good fit, and everything should work well together.
that's great.
All right.
Does, can I ask John, does Compass or Dora Whittier have prior experience working with Brate?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. They were all part of the pre-qual. For Compass on there was Chin, Brian, and Tim. And for Dawn Whittier was Rob and Dawn, and Colleen was also for Compass.
Yeah,
And they had all,
have either worked with them on previous projects?
go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, Brian, we just finished the Natick Kennedy Middle School with them, 2019 through 2021. They actually completed both phases of that project on time through COVID. And also, they were the completion contractor on Norfolk County Agricultural High School. So I've worked with them twice personally. And Compass has worked with them again. They did Marshfield High School. So we've had 3 jobs with them.
Okay, great.
We haven't worked with them, but we've heard good things about them.
All right, any other questions? All right, let's, so the next on the list is to vote to approve the minutes from the Pbc Sbc meeting from 6/24/22.
I move
And those
approval.
are,
I
do I have
move
a second?
approval.
I think we have to do, John, I think we have to do 2 separate rolls.
Excellent. So we'll do 2 roll calls or 2 votes for that. So for the PBC, I'll ask Ken,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
John,
Lyle?
I'm sorry to interrupt. You didn't have a second. Nancy made the motion.
I thought someone did second.
I'll second.
All right,
Thank
so so let me just strike that and we'll start again.
Thank you.
So the PBC is going to vote in the minutes from the last minutes, which was on 6/24. And I'll take does anybody like to make
I'll
that
move.
motion?
I'll move
Thank
approval.
you, Nancy. Anybody like to second that?
I'll second.
Brian will second. So Ken,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Lyle,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Emily.
Emily doesn't
Oops, sorry.
vote.
Bill,
I don't vote.
you have a voice. That's all I want you to know. All right, Bill?
Yes.
All right, and I am a yes, so that's unanimous for the PBC
John.
on the minutes.
I think I'm a yes too. I think I
Yes.
vote on this.
Excellent, okay. So it's even, 7 even. 7 up.
All right, can I get a motion? This is for the SBC vote to approve the minutes. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Okay.
Second.
Great. Ken,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Lyle,
Yes.
John,
yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
and Chief. Great, thank you.
Maya, are you number 7? Do you
Yes,
approve it too?
sorry, I'm a yes. I always forget to vote when I call it.
All right. Now, in the packets is the vote to approve awarding the construction contract for the Hannon Dealfield project to Bragg Building Construction.
John, can I just make one point before we do?
Please.
I just want everyone to know that with the school committee's commitment of the 2 million plus in mitigation funds, we are now, if we accept this contract, we will have a 3.5% contingency. That's how the numbers work. So we're going into this knowing that on this vote today, that's our contingency amount. We are, as John mentioned, we are very hopeful that the select board will authorize an additional $1 million. That additional $1 million will bring us up to a 5% contingency, which is where the PBC typically, at a minimum, likes to see its contingencies. So we are hopeful, we're crossing our fingers that that will happen, but I did want everyone to be aware that we are at the moment accepting this bid with a 3.5% contingency.
But we are very confident after the select board meeting last night
Yes.
that they are, so the way they left it is that they are asking Pam and Chris to review how they can come up with the $1.1 million.
Them to explore as many options as are feasible.
Yes.
And to,
And to vote on that August, I believe.
August 1st.
Okay, sorry, John, I just wanted to make that.
Oh,
point.
no worries.
I don't know that we
think
said we would vote on it in August unless it was a necessity. But I think we're going to hear what options we have. That's the way I recall leaving it last night.
Okay.
But anybody have any questions going about the process or where we're at?
Can I ask for further clarification, Rob? When you say that, I mean, I can imagine that it's not certain that you'll have an outcome by August, but what's your understanding as to when a clear commitment will be in hand?
I think it depends on what the options are and what the immediacy is for the commitment.
So it's not a time certain.
So
Right, well, so last night, we didn't actually ask them to vote to give us $1.1 million. We asked them to allocate $1.1 million to us, so it's earmarked from whichever fund they see fit. So that we know that we have a 5% contingency if we need it. And where we might, if the change orders or anything goes as smoothly as we hope, we'll be able to put in the alternates that we have so far pushed off to the side, which is not 1 and 2.
I also have just, continuing sort of concern about the other 465 for 3 through 7. And, if you end up needing the full 5%, that becomes essentially an unfunded liability. So I do have that as an ongoing concern.
Understood.
Do those funds require a town vote too, or just select board?
It depends on where we are sourcing the funds from. If we were asking the town to raise the money, yes. If we were utilizing available funds from ARPA, for example, the American Rescue Plan, we would be able to just vote that as the select board. And, there are other places that we are looking to see how else we might cobble some things together. So all of it most likely will be up to the select board unless for some reason the number exceeds the 1-1 that we're talking about, in which case, we would have to explore other paths.
And just to confirm, in this meeting, the 2 million from the school board that's already done. That's allocated by
That's
the
been
school, by
voted.
the school vote. Okay.
But that's what got us to 3.5%.
But
For the
so just not to dwindle it down a lot, but Rob, you guys voted last night in favor of the project and to support it as best you could, yes?
We said we want to ensure the success of this project. It's very, very important for the town. We did say that, yes.
Okay. Excellent.
So John, we need to vote on the alternates. I'm assuming eventually we're going to be a voting on the alternates and a 3.5% contingency, and that's going to be the topic of the vote.
Yes. Alternates 1 and 2, which is.
So
Sorry, go ahead, Lyle.
So with a 3.5% contingency, if that's where this ends up, I'm not sure how everyone else feels, but my vote might change on, between a yes and a no based on those alternates. So I'm curious why we're pushing this forward without, if there's a meeting but with the selectmen on August 1st or thereabouts, don't we have time to wait for the outcome of that?
I think
John,
our bid expires, the bid expires in 30 days. So
That
June
is correct.
22nd, it would expire July 22nd. So I don't think we can wait
It's
until August.
30 business days. Is that 30 business days? Would be the end of
Yeah,
July?
from
Is
the
it
bid date.
business or calendar? Do we know what
Business
that date
funding.
is?
business.
Brian or
Business
Chin, do we know what that date is?
I'm pretty sure that's a business days, but I have to confirm that. And Rob, do you have that handy or let me?
I can do the calculations. I think one of the concerns is, understanding that we've got a limited time window here to try and do some of the site work and blasting. Ideally, we've always been, wanting to try and get as much of that done before school starts. The longer we wait, we also risk, extending or potentially running into an issue of having them meet the substantial completion date and then getting into the school on time in February. So there's a lot of, kind of domino effect of, delaying. And so I think our intention has been to try to, get started as soon as we possibly can.
Can I weigh in? I don't think it's necessary to delay at all. I think we're in the best of, not the circumstances that we have are COVID related and cost overruns. And what we've got is a lot of support, both from the school committee and from the select board. And given the discussion that the select board had, I think what they're saying is, and Rob, you can verify or clarify, but what they're saying is they're fully supportive of doing what's necessary to come up with the additional $1.1 million. And that means everything because they have access to our ARPA funds. Is that the right term? They have to determine if this is indeed an applicable situation, but that work is being done. And even if I would call it the least preferable course of action is to go to town meeting, the town is fully committed to this project. They've been voting allocation of funds all along the way, and then the full bonding project. And this is nobody's fault that the cost is higher. It's circumstances, and we need to deal with them. And so I don't think there's any need to hesitate going forward with this award.
Yeah, I mean, what we talked about last night was Chris and Pam getting together and presenting to us on August 1st the various options for how we might fund this, because there are restrictions with respect to the ARPA funds and how that money can be spent. And so I have asked them to put together the broadest list of where we might close the gap on this 1.1, because we are supportive of the project. I just don't know that we are going to be prepared to vote that on August 1st, depending on what options are presented. That's all. But you don't need that to move forward tonight. That was what we talked about last night. And depending on when you need the funds, or when you have identified that there is definitely a need for the funds, we will be able to come up with something. But so this is the first that I'm hearing there was an expectation that was going to be voted on August 1st. And doesn't sound to me like that's a necessity for you all to move forward tonight.
I think the concern, Rob, is that people are uncomfortable with a 3.5% contingency. I think people really want a higher contingency. To Lyle's point, it would affect his vote one way or the other. Today, it is what it is, right? We have a 3.5% contingency, but if we can move forward with a 5% contingency in August or September, I think that would be preferable for the process, certainly for Compass. I know that they have that 5% in their pocket. So I think that's why, and it was my misunderstanding. I misunderstood last night. I thought that in August, Chris and Pam were going to present the options and the select board would vote to allocate it at that time. That's my misunderstanding. But I do think that going forward, I don't know, I won't speak for John and Brian and Chin and everyone who's done this a lot more, but I would feel more comfortable going forward knowing that we have that 5% contingency. And I'd be more comfortable voting on that 3.5 today, knowing that is in the short term, we would have an answer on that one way or the other.
understood.
I'm with you. I'm a little, I understood it a little differently last night that the select board had voted, they would figure out how to get the $1.1 billion to be available for us, not to put it into the project as a hard number, but if we ever needed it, would be there. So essentially giving us a 5% contingency.
Correct, right. I mean, not necessarily to say this is just for the project, but to say we are allocating this to the project to the extent needed, and we could move forward knowing that we have that 1.5% cushion in the contingency.
And if it wasn't needed, it still stays in the select board account.
I
But
think
it's earmarked for this project.
I think we
That's what I-
indicated that there is support and wanting to ensure the success of the project. And I don't think that should impact the vote tonight, because you don't have that vote and we don't have that source of funds yet identified for tonight's vote anyway. So you were going into tonight's vote with the 3.5% and the alternates 1 and 2. So
Well, yeah, and we can go back and forth and rewatch the whole thing. I misunderstood Mike Walsh's proposal, Mary Ann's thing. I thought that they were saying that they were full support, and because we wanted to know, as Pat mentioned, that when we presented this to the PVC today, that we would be able to count on funds, not knowing where they're coming from, but we trust that you would take care of it if it came to that, up to the 5% contingency. And are you saying that that's not, you're not saying that it's not a possibility?
I
you're
never
saying
said that wasn't a possibility. I was clarifying what I heard here tonight. That's all.
So
So where are we at?
I know we're trying to push ahead. What's that?
So, yep.
I know we're
So
trying to
right
push
now,
ahead.
what's on the docket is
The timeline,
Go ahead, Lyle.
I'm sorry, I'm in a bad area. I understand we're trying to push the schedule. I understand the benefit of doing blasting in August. I want everyone to recognize that the general contractor has the risk of the fixed end date. That's not our risk. So if a contract was awarded in 2 weeks, or if it was awarded tomorrow, that doesn't change anything. We do have 30 days, and I think that gets us past this August 1st date. I'm a little unclear as to whether or not there's a vote on the 1st or not. But personally,
I think we just lost him.
Yeah, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So the last week, so I believe that the 30 days puts us up to about the 28th or 29th of July. That's just my quick ballpark math.
So we don't get to August?
We don't get to August 1st.
we get to August 4th.
Hang on.
From the 19th, or when was it awarded?
The 22nd?
Wednesday, the
Second, I think 30 business days is August 4th.
August 4th? Oh, the holidays, yeah.
Right, I mean, to clarify on the, I agree on the timeline that Rob Fitzgerald had put forward with trying to do the blasting and the end date. I think the issue that we had with the contract was starting, they have a duration to complete the project in, and that start date is based on the notice to proceed. And the goal was trying to finish for a February break move-in. So the concern would be if you push that start date, contractually, they have a duration that would extend beyond, a time to move in February. And that was kind of the goal, is trying to make sure that we allowed the contractual duration for the work.
And then one other thing is that unless this committee wants to hold another meeting between now and basically right after August 1st, we at the moment there is not another meeting scheduled. The next meeting is August 18th. So that's the other sort of procedural issue that we have to pay attention to. This committee need to award the contract, vote to award the contract by the August 4th date. So if this committee does not choose to move forward today, we do have to figure out how to schedule the other meeting.
It sounds to me like the select board is not necessarily voting on August 1st. And to Nancy's point, I think that delay, I agree that I don't see a reason to delay. I don't think we're going to have any more information by August 4th than we do now. I think the question, right now, what we have in front of us is a bid for accepting a bid for 74 point something that includes alternates 1 and 2. And that leaves us with a 3.5% contingency. And I think that's what we're voting on today.
Yeah, the vote today is actually seeking the committee to approve and move forward with the letter intent to award for the amount of $74,352,876. That would cover the base bid, alternate 1 and alternate 2, which would be the UVC system and the front canopy.
Do we have language for a motion, John? Or does anybody have?
I would, the request for vote today would be for the committee to award the contract for the amount of $74,352,876 to cover the base bid, which includes a base bid and alternate 1 and alternate 2 for two break builders.
I have language that is in the notice of award that I can read into a motion.
All right.
I'm willing to make the motion if you can read it, Maya.
Okay. The motion would be for the town of Westwood to accept the bid from Bright Builders Corporation in the amount of $74,352,876. This award amount would include the base bid and add alternates number 1 and add alternate number 2 as defined in the bid documents.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. Let's go. Come on.
All right. So I guess we'll do two rolls with the PVC. Ken,
Yes, let's go.
all right. Brian,
Yes.
Lyle,
While
You're
you're
on
on
mute.
mute.
Sorry about that. Yes.
excellent. Nancy,
Yes.
Maya,
Yes.
Chief,
Yes.
and I'm a yes, so that's a unanimous.
Woo-hoo.
All right. Do I need a separate? I don't think I need a separate SBC vote. I think we can do one vote. It's just for the minutes that we need them separate.
Okay, so that was a combined vote for both the PBC and the school building committee.
I have a
Correct.
question just related. Do we still reserve the right to vote on the other alternates as the project progresses?
Yes, so those would be change orders going through near completion.
Okay, is the price reserved or not necessarily? Okay.
Nope.
That could work for us or against us. At this point, nobody knows.
What's the over under?
And Chin, you've gone through the WMB schedule of participation.
Yes, that was submitted according to the required time frame, and then we have reviewed it that meets the requirements set up by the specification, to the best of my knowledge.
All right, so let me say congratulations, everybody. We've gotten to the point, and the key's in the ignition.
I believe some of the representatives from Bright Builders are watching the call, and I would
Oh,
just
excellent.
add that we look forward to working with them and making this.
Do we want to
project-
pull them up as a panelist and they can, if they want to say something? And you can decline if you want.
Not decline the bid, decline to
No,
speak.
no. Decline to show up in the meeting.
Be careful.
Thank
what
you for
say, John.
clarifying, Nancy.
Thank you. No pressure.
There they are.
You just have to, Michael
Unmute.
and Bob, you just have to unmute, yes.
Excellent.
Bob Brait, nice to meet everyone. Looking forward to this having a very successful project with.
Yes.
We've heard great things about you.
We've got a great team.
And is
Oh.
Michael a relative of yours?
My brother,
Are you the two principals?
yes,
And you'll be the point people that will be meeting with our folks all the time and
yes, I'll be the project exec and project manager will be TJ Dayhood and
oh,
Michael.
he's also on. Okay,
Yes,
great.
and Michael will be involved in day-to-day operations.
All right. Well, congratulations and welcome to the team.
Great, thank you.
All right, thank you. And I'm sorry I messed up your name in the beginning.
Sorry.
All right, so the next is the builder's risk insurance for the Hamlin Deerfield. Has everybody got a chance to read through that? They are gonna have to correct the dates on that. The insurance started a day last week. And they're gonna have to make the correct schedule on that. Michelle was working on that. She had to cut off at 5:30.
So the
Jen, do we
insurer,
need to vote that?
that's our backup plan should something not go well with the GC.
No, this is, so remember in the fire station, someone came in and stole the copper
Yeah,
and it flooded out? This is the insurance that covers that.
yeah, but this is the surety on the whole project though.
Right,
Like at the
But-
high school, it was Hartford. Not Hartford, yeah, Hartford Insurance.
right,
Right.
okay.
Bill, you know this, right, Bill?
Yes, that was the bonding company.
The bond,
Bonding
yeah.
company.
That
Thanks,
was the
Bill.
GC's bond.
Thank you, Bill. All right, this is
Slightly
not the
different.
same thing then.
Correct.
No.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that for me.
All right, Chin, do we need this now? Or can we hold off to the next meeting when we get all the dates squared away with Michelle and the insurance company?
The issue there is that you can vote for the amount and then pending, and then ask Michelle to take care of the clerk, to address the clerical issue. But if you vote today, that will make it easier in terms of having the insurance in place. I think that I would recommend that the committee vote to authorize for Michelle and the town member to carry out the complete purchasing of the builder's risk insurance for up to the amount I believe is $158,958.
Going to the bottom.
And does this proposed insurance package come recommended by town administration, town council? Who
correct.
is recommending it?
This insurance recommendation came through the Michelle and Marie, who addresses all the insurance policies in town. And this insurance policy carries a $5,000 deductible, and it also includes terrorism and whole bunch of flood and earthquake. It's pretty thorough on that. And again, this is not the bond. This is on the material and the actual building itself. If should there be any damage during the process.
All right, I'd entertain a motion to the town of Westwood for the premium summary for the builder's risk, including terrorism, for the Hanover Insurance Group, not to exceed $158,958. And the scheduled dates and times to be squared away with Michelle Miller, who is our procurement officer.
Okay, I'll make that motion, John.
I'll
Thank you,
second.
Nathan. All right. So we'll do a roll call of the PBC Sbc.
Yep.
Ken Ayers,
Yes.
Brian Bear,
Yes.
Lyle Coughlin.
Yes,
Thank you. Nancy Hyde,
Yes.
Maya Polkin,
Yes.
and Chief Schobel.
Yes.
And myself is a yes, so that is 7 for 7. And next up,
John, the only reason to tighten up,
yes,
John, the
I
only
had
reason
talked-
that, the
Go
only
ahead.
reason to tighten, I'm sorry, I'm in a bad spot. The only reason to tighten up those dates is if it affects the price, so the price comes down because it's less coverage period. Otherwise, we're better off just keeping a longer duration. We'll leave that up to Michelle to figure out, I guess. Just wanted to throw that out there.
right. So we voted for a number not to exceed that amount, and if they need to, they can come back and ask us to adjust that at the next meeting. The vendor invoices.
John, we still have a amendment number 7 for Compass for the testing agent. Testing agency.
Oh, yes. So Chin, do you want to explain what that one is?
Yeah. So accompany the construction that there is a independent third-party testing agency required by code for some of the the code requires the structural members to be tested, such as concrete, steel for the welding, and bolt, and etc. And so the testing program is established by the designer, Doran Whittier, and then that we took that testing program and went out to 3 competitive agencies, and then came up with the lowest number is the approximately $200,000. And this is something is an ongoing basis. We will pay as needed so that so that when if we don't use as much, then we will not build the entire amount, obviously. So and so this is something that is required as part of the project, and it's part of the budget, and also and that it just simply Compass will be the company that manage the independent testing agency for the on behalf of the town. And we are seeking for an additional amendment to our contract for the amount of $220,000 to cover the testing service.
Chen, does this include geotechnical monitoring during drilling, blasting, or is that separate?
So this includes some of the compaction tests, and then there's additional monitoring by the geotechnical consultant that is carried under Doran Whittier's contract, which is already in place. So this completes the entire thing. And then, so this would also include things like adhesion tests for the air barrier, vapor barrier, and the roof testing. And it's a very long list of tests.
Right, but we have the geotech monitoring
Yes,
covered in the project separately.
that is correct. And it's covered in different components. The engineer cover portions of it, and then the compaction test covers the other portion is under this $220,000.
Thanks.
And just to clarify a little bit, the geotech engineer's time there's an allowance, so
Right.
it's filled out as needed type thing. So if there's more than what was anticipated or assumed, then there may need to be an add. If he doesn't have to spend as much time, then you would have a credit to that allowance that's plugged in there.
Right, and is that Compass's as the construction management team? Is it up to them to request how much service they want, or the architect, or?
It'd be kind of a combination as to what we find on site and what's dictated by the project conditions.
And just to be clear, this is, while it's not in the current contract, it is in the budget, correct?
It is in the budget. That is correct. this is accounted for in the overall budget that we just looked at. Yes.
Anybody like to make a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the amendment to the contract.
Second.
For 220,000?
Yes, for 220,000.
And Ken, did you second?
Yes.
Excellent. All right. Ken,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Lyle,
yes,
Nancy,
Yes,
Maya,
Yes.
Chief. And I'm a yes, so that's 7-7.
Thank you.
All right.
And the next item is vendor invoice. You should have a copy of that in your package. This month is the total amount is $167,736.33. And this is comprised of the OPM service on bidding, and there's a line item that is for the additional automation control consultant that is listed, that we have the service for 27,500, and then we have reimbursable expenses for advertisement for the bidding process, and the Door and Whittier service for bidding, and we have a number of items that are kind of late, the wetland and the Conservation Commission hearing process bill that only came through this month. And then the last is we have additional printing costs of $565. So that adds up to the $167,736.
I have two questions, Chin. Forgive me if these are basic, but the automation consultant, could you explain what that is?
So the automation consultant line item, that this was an approved amendment to the Compass Projects contract. And the purpose of this is that one of the major issues is that HVAC automation is usually the sort of Achilles heel in a modern project that control usually has problem. And then so in this case that we have a consultant that's monitoring and keeping an eye during the design process and going into the specification, reviewing the specification language, and then making sure that it is written per the design, the goal of the client, the owner. And then so that they are embedded in the service during the design and construction document, and they will also review the installation. And we also own 18 months after the occupancy, so that they will do two things. One is to make sure that all the components that is designed in the project is installed. And number two is that all the installation are correct and controlled properly per the desire of the client. And so that you have a guarantee, you have a certainty of that, everything that you have purchased in terms of HVAC is in there working properly.
Another way to think about them is a computer programmer versus a mechanical engineer.
Okay.
These guys are.
They are computer programmers. Yes, that's
Yes.
very much so.
Thanks.
Would someone like to make a motion on that?
I will make a motion to accept the invoices and pay for $167,736.33.
second,
All right. We'll do a roll call for the Pbc Sbc. Ken,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Lyle,
yes,
Nancy,
yes,
Maya,
Yes.
Chief,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. So it's 7-7, Jess. And there's the agenda. Does anybody have any new business they want to discuss or going forward? The next meeting is going to be on the 18th. Hopefully it'll be virtual. If not, it'll be in person. And if it's virtual, we'll do it at 5 o'clock, if that works for everybody.
Yeah.
And let me just say congratulations. It took 5.5 years to get to this point.
Yep, now
we
we
have
get to build
Reese.
it, right?
We have excellent builders. We got an excellent team. We got Compass. We got Doran Whittier. We got this team right here. We got the town. This is going to be a great project. Looking forward to seeing it grow and get in place.
I want to say that Ken clapping and saying, let's go. It accurately captures my feeling in this moment. I'm so excited that we're going to actually start at this point. So thank you to everyone for all of your work on this.
And I just want to say a special thanks to May and Emily for really carrying this on your backs. So sometimes it looked like nobody else was helping you. And you just kept going right on through and you got here. Awesome job. Thank you. It's a great project.
We had a great SBC team. We still do. So we're going to get this done.
All right. On that note, everybody have a good summer. We'll see you on the 18th.
I move we adjourn.
I have
All
second.
right, there a second?
Second.
All right. Chief,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Lyle,
Yes.
Maya,
Yes.
and I'm a yes.
So am I, John.
Where are you? There you
I'm
are.
here.
Here's the
So's
sun.
Ken.
Ken. The wind blew my paper across the room. I was going alphabetically. All right, everyone, have a good one. And thank you very much. Nice work.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice work.
Thanks.